So what sort of slide are we talking about? We're talking about a camera slider. So if you're here for snowboards or beautiful ladies sliding down staircases, I'm sorry, it's all about photos and video. So this is the slider. Okay, so this is the slider we're talking about. It's made by a company called GVM, which is Great Video Maker, which is a Chinese company, and I am no way being sponsored by this company for this video. This is simply an item I've bought myself for my business. It comes with a ball mount, which goes on the top. So the ball mount screws onto the top. So it screws onto the top like so, fully adjustable to allow you to mount your camera to it. Talking of the cameras we'll use, for today's purpose I've got my Blackmagic pocket camera. Obviously the camera doesn't come with the slider, you have to buy that separately. The other things it comes with is a control unit, which I'll show you in a minute in detail, with a strap to tie it to your tripod or whatever you want to tie it to. It comes with a short cable which runs from the machine. In fact, let's plug it in and show you. As I say, today's video is really about how to use a slider, not how to use this particular one, how to set this one up. So I'm not going to go into detail on this slider today. One end plugs into the slider and the other one plugs. It's a USB connection into the device. It comes with a Sony F750 battery, which is your common sort of camcorder batteries. You can get these anywhere at very good prices. And that is it up and running, or set up. To operate the slider, you need to set a start and end point using the controller, which I'll show you in a second. You can switch on the device. And it gives you three options to start with. The first option you're looking for is settings, because every time you turn this slider on, you have to set a start and end point. Click the middle button to select it. We want to select the start, drop the speed for now, and we'll go a little bit one way. Once you're happy with the position, hold the middle button down, and again, and we're going to set an end point. Speed this up for the purpose of the video. As you can see, the slider is moving, in my case, from left to right, from your view, right to left. And once I'm happy with the position I want it in, tap the middle button again, hold it down to save it, hold it down to exit, hold it down to exit again, and we're ready to use the slider. So, I'm only going to show you today how to use it for video rather than time lapse. We'll do perhaps another video if you want on how to use a slider for time lapse. So you can either move this manually now by pressing the button, which I'll show you shortly, but we'll do auto mode. It's got auto loop, so it will bounce backwards and forwards until the battery runs out or until I press stop. So we'll try that first of all. Auto loop. And off she goes. Obviously, I'd have record pressed on the camera if I was filming. But what should happen now is it should reach the start point, slow down nicely, and return all the way back to the end point and carry on doing the same. The difference between a motorized slider and a manual one is the fact that it can do this so smoothly. If you're doing it by hand, no matter how steady you are, you can nearly always see that there's a slight bit of juddering in your film making. To stop it then, just press the middle button. Manual mode, is simply press and hold whichever direction you want, and when you let go, the slider will stop. This is good if you're filming, if there's more than one of you. So this is good if you're operating the slider, filming someone else, and you've got a specific part that you want to capture on film. Good fun. Okay, this particular shot is known as the reveal. It's a simple shot. You're bringing the camera from behind an object or behind an obstruction to reveal your subject. It's important to note when you're using a slider, in most cases, try and have something between you or the subject and the lens. It adds a little bit of depth, and the whole idea of a slider is to do that, is to give more perspective to the shot so that the viewer finds it more interesting to watch. The reveal can also be done in reverse. So say for example you wanted to change shots, which we'll do. You can, let me just click the button, I'll send you away and I'll show you how you can use it as a transition. Hi. Okay. So this next shot is all about bringing the subject into focus. Hopefully I should be in shot, but the focus will be off. Now the way we achieve this, as you can see, I've got the GoPro, I've got the slider set up on the table. I've got it more or less as straight as I can to bring the camera towards me. Bear in mind, with such a slider, you want to make sure you keep the slider out of shot. The other thing you need to do is have a very wide aperture on your camera. If you don't know what that means, then I'm sorry, you'll have to look on other YouTube videos. So the way we do this then, let me just slow this down slightly. So the camera's now running along the slider, and it should, when it gets to the end, bring me into sharp focus. You don't often see this used in movies nowadays, but it can be used instead of other ways of grabbing focus. It can be used to set a point or to bring an attention to a serious part of the topic. Okay, that's enough of me being right in your face in focus, I hope. We'll move on to the next one. So as you can see clearly, quite a complicated shot to set up, and that sometimes is the best thing to do. The more complicated you can make it, the more interesting it's going to be to your viewer. So here, the reason why this is a difficult shot to set up, because if my wife saw this, she would go mental. But it's all about making it a different angle that you could actually see from your eye. You wouldn't be allowed to stand on a table and look down. So that's one of the reasons why it's very interesting. Talking of interesting, so is this book. This book is extremely old, that's why I'm being very careful with it. It was from, well, we've got a date in here somewhere. Try to tear it. $1850. Beautiful. All about how to build and design your farm buildings. Anyway, so that's the overhead shot. I'm going to take it down before something falls and breaks, because it makes me extremely nervous doing the overhead shots. One of the shots I'm not going to show you is the underneath shot. That can be used for things like glass tables. So if you have a glass table and someone is doing some activities on it, you could put your camera underneath and shine it upwards or film upwards. Exactly the opposite of what we're doing here. Okay, my favourite type of slider shot, the last one, is what I call panning. So I've basically set the camera up. You've got adjustment bars so you can pan left to right and fix your camera onto a subject, i.e. myself. Very nice movement. It gives a lot of depth, so you should be able to see behind me. Everything's sort of moving behind me with the camera. And if it's done subtly enough, I've actually done this a little bit too fast actually. I'll slow it down. Let's drop it to 70 odd. So if it's done subtle enough, and it all depends how long the actual piece is, how long the actual conversation is under video. Problems with this one is, one, my heavy camera, which is about to go flying with the tripod. So you need a very good tripod if you've got a heavy camera. And the other problems you can have is light. I've got a LED light to my right just to keep things constant. And the other things you're going to have problems with is, now that everyone's seen this fabulous painting, this picture behind, which is actually made of metal, you're probably going to be asking me, where could I get a picture just like that? Well, if you go to my website and on www.photomedium.com, I took this photo. This is a photo that was taken in the Harz in the mountains on a winter's day, and it's actually a colour photo. That's how the colour was that day. It was a wintry, cold day with the sun coming through the trees. So if you want to know how to buy it, get in touch. Drop me an email, and I'll tell you about prices and how it all works. Thanks for watching. Hope it was a little bit of interest. For those of you in England, I hope you had a lovely Easter. I'll leave it there for today. And like I say, it's just an introduction of how I'm learning to use the slider.